Okay, hello. Today we're gonna make, or I'm gonna make, a ferment. Okay, so I have a few things to share about this recipe that I've kind of created, and it's really quite simple and cool. So, okay, so we're gonna harvest, or we're gonna, grab a bunch of growing herbs here. So we haven't planted any of this. These are just growing here on the land. So wherever you are, there's gonna be herbs growing. Like this grass here, you can even eat this grass. Okay, it's really fibrous, but there's some health. There's lots of nutrients in this grass here. This is called epazote herb, which is very, very, very medicinal. It helps kill parasites and all sorts. So, you can see I've harvested off this plant before, but you can grab the outer leaves here. We're grateful for the plant here. Its karma is actually to provide these healthy healing herbs. So we're going to grab some leaves here of the epazote. Right here there's another plant. We'll grab some more epazote leaves. Okay. Here's dandelion. Everybody has dandelion growing near them. There's so many different varieties of dandelion. But just look it up. And when you see herbs around you, try and find out what they are. Go to the internet and see what's edible where you are. Plantain is another herb that grows abundantly in most of the world. It kind of looks like dandelion in a way, or some varieties of dandelion. But what you can do is, wherever you live, go and harvest the greens that are growing wild. Okay, find out what's edible. You can figure it out. Okay, so right here, this is called mallow. Okay, mallow. There's a lot of species in this family that look very similar. It tastes a bit like spinach. Okay, so we'll grab some mallow leaves. You can grab the young ones, the old ones. Don't mind if there's a little bit of bird poo or anything. I don't care. A lot of the white stuff you'll see on the leaves is actually pollen. It's all fine, just throw it in. Okay, so another thing that's cool that I was talking about in my last video about soil biology is that you can actually just snap off the whole plant here, because this white sap on the inside of these lettucey kind of plants is very, very medicinal, very healthy stuff. You can eat the flowers of dandelions, it's all good. So another thing about the plants is that the plants get their energy from the sun. They photosynthesize, they get energy, but they also they get nutrients from the microorganisms in the soil. So the microorganisms, which are like bacteria and fungi, they're the smallest little organisms there. They actually eat up the sands, the silts, the clays, the rocks, the pebbles in the soil, and they make those nutrients available to the plants. But for those microorganisms to survive, the plants, they excrete this stuff called exudates, which is food for the microorganisms. Okay, so but the plants, they don't just do it under the ground, they do it above the ground too. There's actually tiny little bacteria on the leaves that are synthesizing nutrients out of the air and giving them to the plants. So we're getting those microorganisms, those beneficial bacteria, off of the leaves of the plants, which is why fermentation is so good, because those beneficial microorganisms on the leaves multiply while you're doing the ferment. So it's very cool. Plus I add probiotic live cultures, which you can buy online, and I recommend you do before maybe you can't at some time. And then all those different strains of living probiotics will multiply during your ferment too. So what happens when you get all these good probiotics in your gut can break down, well, while it's fermenting, it's breaking down all these nutrients, it's multiplying the nutrients, all the B vitamins, and it's just creating new vitamins, and everything gets multiplied during the fermentation process. So there's more nutrients for your body to absorb. Okay, and at the same time, there's more and more of those microorganisms going into your gut, and so your gut comes to life, and it can continually support itself because your immune system starts in the gut. 70% of your immune system, or 80%, or a whole bunch, most of it, starts is from the gut. So when you have a healthy gut with all these bacteria, you're alive. You know, you feel alive, and it's good. You know, look at me, I'm alive. I'm in the sunshine. I'm synthesizing light, but at the same time, I have the bacteria in my gut to break down the nutrients and make them available to my body, because everybody is nutrient deficient because they've got no living bacteria in their guts to actually make those nutrients bioavailable to the human. Okay, so plants are our most compatible food. You know, fruits are really the easiest things for us to digest, but it's hard for us to get nutrient dense fruits nowadays, and we're so nutrient deficient we need a boost. And so all these wild herbs, or anything you grow, even if you can't grow any vegetables, you live in an apartment, well, you still can grow them, but if you don't have them right now, buy a cabbage. The simplest recipe to make is just use cabbage. But if you can get herbs that are in your light environment that grow where you live, this stuff is really, really cool. So here I've got mustard. You can see these giant mustard leaves, very healthy. You can see if the mustard plant is growing taller than me, you know it's healthy. And so we take the leaves, it gives lots of flavor to our juice we're going to make here. Keep taking the dandelion. You can even take the flowers of the mustard, wherever they are. Over here there's some yellow mustard flowers we can go and take. The flowers taste great too. And like I said, everywhere you are, you can even take this clover. You know, we can put some clover in there. You know, the clover grows everywhere. That's got some, see, this is clover. Take some of that. Every plant has different nutrients that it can offer the body. They're a different consciousness. See, down here we have some white flowers. When I see the white flowers, I know it's arugula. So I can actually just take some arugula leaves too, because everybody knows or should know arugula is very, very healthy, and it tastes great. So we'll get some arugula. Here, just keep walking through, just keep picking up mallow. We're very fortunate for where we live here, but wherever you live, you can figure it out. You see, here's a different variety of, I know that's dandelion. I thought it was a different variety. We have different kinds of mustard growing. Big leaves, and we have smaller leaf ones. Anyway, so this stuff is really, really good. Once you get this microbiome, the organisms in your gut, you come to life, and your immune system becomes immune. And you're just full of energy. Go outside in the sunshine when you can, when the sun's out, get your energy from the sun, and at the same time get that microbiome going, because when the microbiome is going, you don't even need to eat food. You know, there are people out there that are breatharians, believe me or not. You can look it up. And there's documentaries about it and all sorts, because it's like when you fast, it's been proven that when you go into a fasted state, somebody who is unhealthy, after a certain amount of time, some weeks or something, or days even, then if their body is lacking a certain nutrient, while being in a fasted state, it will start to create that nutrient. It'll just create it even though it doesn't have it, without consuming any food. The body is fasting. So, but when you have the microbiome, there's those microorganisms there, and they will start doing it for you. They will start creating the nutrients and using, I mean, it's just really, really cool stuff. So basically, we can just harvest all day here because we got so much food growing. But for the sake of the video, I won't take too much of your time. We also have stinging nettle in here. This is lamb's quarters. That's a really healthy plant too. Get some of those leaves. There's stinging nettle right here. See, this it stings, so you kind of want to have gloves to harvest it. But so we'll just leave it because I can't be bothered getting those little prickles in my fingers. Yeah, so you just come out wherever you are. Dandelion grows everywhere, and roadsides. You know, and if you're worried about pollution, you know, the cars aren't really driving in most of the world right now, so that's cool. But you could just wash them off, throw the greens in a bowl full of vinegar, baking soda, you know, that'll do it. Some hydrogen peroxide if you have that, MMS, whatever you have, but just vinegar, because all the herbicides and pesticides and all that bad stuff, it's all oil based, and so it'll just come right off once you put the vinegar or the baking soda or both. So here we are, we're getting a big bag of greens here. If you can't get the probiotics, the living probiotics, the ones I use, it's called Ogio is the brand. It has 16 different strains of probiotics, 16, and 5 billion different, you know, living organisms per capsule. So if you can find something like that, that's great. There's other brands like Puridyme, I forget the other names, but now would be a good time to order some if you haven't. But if you live near here in Rosarito, or you know, anywhere near here, I can sell you a starter culture. So what I'm going to go and do now is I'm going to make a big blended brew, and what I've been doing is I've been selling to the people around here just quart jars. And when you drink your 1 quart jar and you get it down to about 1 cup left, you take that 1 cup, I'm going to show you, and you put it in the blender and you blend it all up, and then in 1 day you have your ferment. Otherwise it takes 3 days without the starter. So anybody can do it in 3 days. And the blender is great because it blends it up. You have more surface area, so the nutrients it's like pre-digested. There's more surface area for the little hairy things, the villi in your intestines, to absorb the nutrients. So and it makes it easier to drink it. Basically, you can make it taste however you want. If you like kimchi, throw in garlic and ginger and seaweed and all that good stuff, an apple or pear, you know. I like to put in lots of herbs. I'll put cilantro, garlic, ginger. What else? You can put superfoods or super things like hemp. You can put avocado. You can put chia seeds. You can put spirulina, moringa powder. You can't go wrong with this stuff. You just put whatever you have access to. Any of your favorite vegetables. If you like celery, put celery. If you like cabbage, put cabbage. If you like, you know, chard, put chard. Whatever your deal is, beets. You know, all of these things are very healthy herbs, very healthy vegetables. Well, vegetables are just herbs that people really like to grow. You can put onions, you know, put whatever you want. Don't let some dogma about something being good or bad put you off. Just put whatever you want. Let it ferment for 3 days, and you're in for a treat. You will have this energy. Your gut will come to life. When you're born, your body starts growing right here from the puku, the tummy button, and so that's where everything starts, is in the gut. Then the lower back and the body grows like this. You got to have a healthy gut, and most people have no idea what it's like to have a healthy gut. You can even take the leaves off fruit trees. Here we have a locust tree. The leaves on the locust tree are very good for your lungs. You can get a book about herbalism, the herbs that grow wild near you, because now's the time to start eating the herbs. These things are very, very nutrient dense. But if I just ate this now, ugh. But if you blend it up, you ferment it, it becomes bioavailable. So here's more of these mustard flowers. They taste great. They're a little bit sweet, a bit spicy. Flowers are beautiful. So we'll take some flowers, because that's just a very cool vibration there. So alive. So isn't it so cool that this color exists, you know? Learn to be grateful for the natural environment and spend some time with it, and you know, isn't it so cool that it can support you and you can support it? Very, very cool. So here we are. There's, like I said, all of this is edible. These dandelion greens, there's all this clover, you know, we don't have to take it all. We have chickens and ducks and rabbits that eat this stuff. So we all share. We all share. Okay, so now we're gonna go. Okay, here we are in our kitchen here. So these are the probiotics I have, the OGO brand, and you can see it has 50 billion live cultures per capsule. Live cultures, that's what you want. You want them to be alive, okay? Don't buy probiotics that don't say live cultures for fermenting, okay? For any purpose. And, yep, so anyway, and it has 16 different strains, so I don't need to read them all because it probably doesn't mean anything to you. But 16 strains, so that's very good stuff. So the first time I made it with these probiotics, I just put one capsule here in the blender, and then it fermented, and these 16 strains, 50 billion, they all just multiplied because they eat up all the good stuff that we're in, or the salt feeds them, and just like the minerals out there, the microorganisms, the bacteria, this is beneficial bacteria, they for your immune health and digestive health. So the bacteria, they feed off of the salt we're going to put, and then they multiply, and at the same time they're multiplying. These minerals, vitamins in here are multiplying. So cool stuff. So here we are, we have a ferment here that's, you know, probably a week old. You can leave it out of the fridge as long as you want. If mold does form on the top, like some funny color, if it's white stuff on the top, it's probably just beneficial bacteria. But if you get this, like, you know, if it's mold, just scrape it off, it's fine. So anyway, we're gonna make what I call a 24-hour ferment, but if you don't have a batch already made, then it takes 3 days. But for the sake of this video, I'm gonna make a, well, first I'm gonna do it because it'll be ready for 24 hours for us. So here, you just put in about a cup worth of the previous ferment. So you can see there's 250 milliliters, 1 cup. And then, yes, you want coffee filters because these lids can rust. So now, we just throw in our herbs we just harvested here. I don't like to wash them because all that good bacteria is in there. Don't be afraid of the outside things, whatever they are. The beneficial bacteria will eat anything bad. They will eat the bad stuff before they eat the good stuff. The things that are bad for you before they eat the salt and different things. So anyway, we're filling it up here. Pretty full. I do like to put sometimes a little bit of cabbage. In this case, I have one in the fridge that's about half done, so we cut off a little cabbage because for some people the herbs can be a bit strong in flavor because they're so nutrient dense. People aren't used to it. Now, cabbage is healthy, so you can look up Jillian Mai Tai. She has made this juice she calls the Jilly juice. This is kind of what I based this off of, where she just puts cabbage and salt and water and ferments for 3 days. Now, I like kimchi. Kimchi is a bunch of good nutrients, and kimchi because it has a bunch of different ingredients, and the nutrients and the different ingredients support each other to multiply to make a super drink. So kimchi, you can read about it, very, very healthy stuff. So one day I thought, well, I'll just put the kimchi ingredients. So here we go, here's some garlic, drop a few cloves of garlic in there. Over here we have some ginger, so cut off a little piece of ginger. You don't have to peel it, throw some ginger in there, and then you're kind of getting like a kimchi. So then we want something spicy. So we go into our magic refrigerator and look at that, there's a chili. So if you like something spicy, you can throw a chili in here. There we go, some chili, make it spicy, getting more like a kimchi. I also have some fresh turmeric, drop some of that in there. You can put any of the spices you like. Here's the black pepper here. Black pepper activates the turmeric. Okay, so you get the idea. We can put in anything. I have hemp seeds here, I have lion's mane mushroom, I have moringa powder, I have MSM, which is this like good organic sulfur. I was against taking it for a while because it tastes bad, but apparently this MSM sulfur is, you know, in every cell of your body, and it helps you absorb nutrients and things. So you can put some of that. Have some apple cider vinegar. I also have white vinegar here. This is from cane sugar alcohol. Now, some people say white vinegar is bad. Whatever you want to do, you don't have to put vinegar, but Tony Pantelleresco from the YouTube channel Herbs Plus Beadworks, he's a cool guy. He talks about how it's good for ferments to put vinegar. So if you want to, I like the flavor. It kind of makes it a bit like pickles. There's some cilantro on the top there. I like cilantro. I have onions growing in the garden, green onions. I would put those, but I forgot to get some. You can put the garlic greens. You can put any herbs or vegetables you like. You can put here some cayenne pepper. Get some of that in there. Okay, we got curry powder. I like curry powder. It's got turmeric, fennel, coriander, fenugreek, all that good stuff. Okay. Now, the most important ingredient here is salt. So I'll put about 1, 2.5 tablespoons. You can, Jillian Mai Tai would say to put 4. I like to put a bit less, about 3. But remember, I put a cup of already brewed ferment there, and that had salt in it, so that'll be enough. Now, all you need to do, like I said, you can put avocado. I got some oregano here. We can throw some oregano in here. That's a nice flavor. Very, very healthy herb is oregano, or oregano, wherever you live. Well, oregano. Okay, now what we need to do is put some water here. We got our healthy water. Distilled water, RO water. There's good water. Spring water is okay too, but I like distilled best. We use John Ellis water. Yes, distilled hundreds of times our water is. So here we are. Just put the blender on the top here. It's about, water's almost up to the top. Don't fill it to the top because it will expand as you blend it. So some of us have made that mistake before. Now we just blend it. It'll take a while. I like to blend it for a while. Waiting or fast forwarding. Anyway, so here we are. Now I don't really wash my jars out because you don't need to. It doesn't go bad or anything. So, but if you like, here's a nice clean jar. Okay, just pour it in here. Okay, now another reason I don't wash it out is because all the beneficial bacteria living in here, they've been multiplying for a long time now. So then I'll just keep going, and it'll just keep fermenting. It's the super stuff here. So I'm gonna go ahead and make more with everything we harvested. But you can see that one blender full makes a whole lot of this good stuff, and then you put the lid on and you let it ferment for 3 days. You don't have to put it in the fridge. You can put it in the fridge if you want to. It'll just ferment slower in the fridge, a lot slower. But I like to just get it strong, and You can't drink too much. Julie and Mai Tai suggest people drink, a cup to start off with in a day, if that's all you can drink, but upwards to a whole gallon a day, and your gut will come to life, and you will feel great. So I recommend everybody makes this. Most people are on, what do they call it, lockdown, or you can't leave your house, so have fun, go into your garden. I bet you've got edible herbs or weeds growing, or, I'm sure most people can still get some kind of food. Do what you can and use any herbs and spices you like, throw it in there, ferment it. If you got probiotics, it's really simple and it's really cool. So yeah, have a new experience, and you can obviously drink it raw, but it tastes better when it's fermented and it's more alive. I also, over here, you can see I made one where I poured some vinegar, like extra vinegar, put cucumbers, I put some of the ferment, and I put, some of my not favorite herbs like cilantro in here. And so you can make like pickles with this stuff too, and it's alive. It's very alive. It's very cool. And you can also make tea with these herbs, or you can get the leaves off of the trees, like eucalyptus trees, all the fruit trees like orange trees, lemon trees. The leaves are very medicinal, and you can make a tea. You can use herbs like rosemary. These things are everywhere, and you can make a tea. And then over here, I made a ferment with it, where you put sugar instead of salt. So I put a cup of sugar in this gallon, and I put one of the probiotic capsules, and then you have like a different kind of ferment. This is more potent because you're blending it instead of making a tea, but if you prefer the other option, it won't actually have any sugar when it's done, because the probiotics will eat all of the sugar. So it won't really be sweet, but some people really don't like salt. Another option, instead of not using salt, is you can use seaweed. I usually put seaweed, but I don't have any right now. I have to go and get some from the ocean. And you can put salt water instead of salt. You can look up, not lots of salt water, but you can find out the equivalent, or ask me and I'll find it. I have it written down somewhere. You can look up Angel Garcia. He's a French guy who studied the benefits of drinking salt water and healed people of every disease, diabetes, cancer, and things through salt water, because there's tons and tons of micronutrients in the salt water. So this is basically just dehydrated salt water. To me, it's sea salt. So anyway, there you have it. That's something fun to try. And if you live in the surrounding area here in Rosarito, you can let me know if you would like me to drop you off a quart-size jar here. This is New Wave juice. I've been selling it. I've listed all the ingredients here. I can send them to you that I put in this, and the probiotics. So there we go. Cheers.